To my right, I can barely see it. Like a single tree and a just house. I can't see it's a house, but I know it's a house. Far in the distance, there's someone with me. A wife, feels like family.
Mm-hmm.
In the mid-ground between me and the house and the distance, that's over my right shoulder, all of that.
Mm-hmm. I want you to take a look at your feet and tell me what you see.
I have no left foot.
So you have a right foot?
I think so.
Okay.
But the left is more like a tree trunk, roots and cords, and I'm connected to the ground, but there isn't actually a foot. No foot below about the calf. I don't quite get it. It just sort of vanishes into tendrils, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that last part of my leg was just replaced with a conduit.
And so what about your right side?
So I'm grounded really well. It's just there's no foot. The right side seems like a normal
Okay.
leg.
Okay. And so take a look at the rest of your body and tell me what you see.
The fingers in my left hand are long.
Like how much longer?
Oh, 50% double.
And what about your right side?
It's quite comfortable to stretch out. I'm not sure if it's a little bit longer or yeah, a little bit longer than typical.
Mm-hmm. And what are you wearing?
Linen.
What color?
White. Linen tunic. I don't know about anything in the bottom half of my body.
Okay. And take a look at your face and tell me what you see.
A smile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting caught up in whether or not I have a beard, and I'm not really sure.
Okay. What color's your hair?
Red?
Okay. And I think you mentioned a wife, so
Reddish brown.
Reddish brown? So do you feel like this is somewhere else? Another planet other than Earth?
It's just foreign enough. It could be another country, or it's not Earth.
So your form that you are in, does it look like a human form? Similar?
Mostly.
Other than your
Taller.
fingers? You're taller? You feel taller than humans?
Yeah. I think this is the future.
How do people interact with each other?
Like Earth was supposed to be. Smile. I'm not perceiving communication. It's more static.
What do you mean by that?
In some regards, there isn't depth. Like I go to look over my left shoulder and I can't. I don't know if there's nothing there or I just can't perceive it.
But you perceive that you have a wife. You mentioned that earlier. That there's a house off to the side. Can you see your wife now?
But now I started paying attention to the skies, and the heavens are open. It's like there's a conduit of light coming. It's like a circle of dark sky, deep blue, and a circle of light opened up in the center, and then from that came down a column of light.
Does that happen often? Have you seen that before?
Oh, it happens often enough. I just haven't seen it before.
And do you know anything about like what that means or why that happens?
Someone's moving fast.
Can you see that off in the distance?
No, I just know it. I can't see what's happening. The light goes to a planet.
Other than yours?
I don't know. the light goes to the planet and then starts spreading out tendrils and encircling the planet, shrouding it, wrapping it in light. It feels like the light is numerous beings, angels or what, just just shrouding the planet in love. It's wild.
That sounds so beautiful. And so you can see this, or you just know that? Like you just feel it.
Bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I can see numerous entities, but I feel the planet's vibration raising.
Of the one that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Each beat of the wings collectively are at large over millions. And most of the people on the planet don't know.
Have you ever connected to any of those beings?
Some of them seem familiar.
Anyone in particular?
You say that and a few dozen jump out at me.
You want to say anything more about these beings that have come forward?
No, they're pretty focused on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to do their thing.
And so how do you spend most of your time?
I create, I make, I organize, I sort, I build, I solve problems.
So what are some of the things that you build and create?
Community, the residences and facilities, amenities of this new civilization I helped make. I can see this little cluster of buildings, somewhat not green, natural in their design, and somewhat angular. It's an odd mix, but I was in charge of that little section and built them just the way my culture would have at home.
And so what color are they, the buildings?
Green and brown. Those buildings I said I made, it's there's a I have the clear sensation that I came from another planet to build like a subset on a different one, make it like home. Wherever I was building these, it's a conglomeration with a bit of most every culture. I wonder if it's Terra.
And what about the other buildings around in the community? What do they look like?
I was only able to see some, and the ones closer in the foreground weren't quite as attractive. Although, to be fair, that could just be my bias.
Uh-huh.
They were square, brown.
And yours are more angular?
Yeah, it was odd.
Are yours more colorful?
They had green too. It was
Mm-hmm.
way better.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of the landscape around you, what does it look like?
Green, lush, verdant,
So a lot of trees, nature, when you say
nature.
green? Mm-hmm.
Some trees, lots of grasses, some palms.
Mm-hmm. And how do the others dress? Are they in similar outfit as you?
Ish. I don't know what I'm wearing now, but the other dress in usually other natural fibers.
Mm-hmm.
Linen's a favorite. Green, yellow, tan, gold, white.
And what do others do in the community? Does everyone have a role to play?
I don't know.
Well, what about your wife? What does your wife do? How does she spend most of her time?
It's another good question. She left the scene a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
Okay, well, you can always connect to her if you'd like and find out what she does for a living. How she spends her time?
I'm trying to see where the scene wants to take me.
Mm-hmm.
Fade to black. The skies are black. Thunder. Lightning. Earthquakes. The earth is dark. Rent open by earthquakes. The noise, it's almost unbearable.
So how are you feeling?
I'm watching this from far up and it's still jarring, grating on the nerves.
Has this been going on for a while?
Medium. There's a few tsunamis currently happening. I just feel this.
What happened to your community?
I'm not sure, but the scene in front of me is this massive waves crashing on the shore, but it looks black. The ground is black.
Do you have a sense of why this is happening?
Oh, it was inevitable.
What do you mean by that? Like you're expecting it?
It couldn't have been changed. On a galactic scale, it could not be advanced nor postponed. It had to happen at the time it did. It had to do with orbits. You can't really change that so much.
So it was something bigger than the planet. It's
Mm,
outside of the planet because you're saying it has to do with orbits.
I think so.
Do you sense that your wife is still alive?
She is well.
So are you currently, so that you're seeing it from the eye view from above, are you somewhere down below at the surface?
It could be that I'm on a mountaintop.
So she's with you? You sense her? Or do you feel like she's somewhere else safe?
Somewhere else, but
Okay.
definitely safe.
Do you have any children?
Not yet. This is less in the future, closer to present.
So I'd like you to leave that scene. We're leaving that scene
Scene is gone.
and we're moving forward to the next important event, next important day where something is happening. You're drifting and floating.
I saw purple, thought it was yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That's gold. Gold. It's gold.
Mm-hmm. And I want you to be there now. Important day in the life that we're watching right now.
It's a new day.
Tell me more.
Sun's shining, birds tweeting, people smiling. We just got here.
And when you say here, are you still on the same planet?
Might be Terra, but we just got here.
Okay.
Not even a week ago. And the world is pregnant with possibility. Saying hi to neighbors across the way.
Are they familiar faces? Have you seen them before?
I've known them my whole life.
So you've all moved together?
Different times, but yeah.
So now you're there together on Terra?
Yeah.
Tell me more. What else do you see? Are there any buildings?
Sort of, not really. Like there's a few teepees and a couple temporary shelters, box-like, but proper buildings aren't made yet. That's our job. All across the world, there's people doing exactly what we're doing, just going up across the way and talking to neighbors and being friendly.
So you said that you just got there. Where did you come from?
Not sure.
So tell me what happens next.
I see something. It's shaped like a beret with a spike on top. It's it's white with an outline around it, moving to my left and coming closer.
So is it just like an energy, or does it feel it's like an actual thing that's coming at you? Like,
It looks two-dimensional, so I'm guessing it might be energy, but
mm-hmm. And how do you feel about this thing coming closer to you?
it felt like I was going to be hit in the face with a frisbee, but then it turned and moved, and I just was, and it bathed me with white healing light,
And as it did that, what do you feel? Do you feel anything?
warm, like I'm sitting in front of a fire.
And so is that energy still moving around within your area?
It's sort of hovering over to my lower right, just waiting there to see how I'll react.
And so you're saying that you feel warmth. Anything else?
Tingle on the back of my neck and
Mm-hmm.
back of the head, comforting.
Did you feel like you needed healing?
The cocky streak in me says no. The realistic part of me says I'm quite grateful to receive it.
Do you typically ask for help?
I usually ask when I need it, but that's
Mm-hmm.
not always early enough. It's surprisingly common that I ask for help after something's a medium-sized issue.
Mm-hmm.
When I could have just prevented that asking earlier. The light, I get the feeling it was a spaceship, knows I'm healed and just vanished.
So it did its work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I'd like you to leave that scene. We're drifting and floating and leaving that scene behind. And we're moving forward to another important day in that life that we are watching, where something is happening, where there is information that we're looking for. Be there now. What is happening? What do you see?
It's grand opening day on Terra Belt. Ribbon cutting day. There's large crowds of people gathered there. All the construction is going to be finally recognized and appreciated by the wider public. And we've been waiting for this for a while. I have zero sense of time, but well, this is sort of like the inflection point for Terra when it goes from just a little to galactic. Construction's done, people are now welcome. Hotels, that's not the right word, it's close, are open. People are going to start coming.
So are these people that are you're anticipating to show up, do they already exist on her surface, or are they coming from somewhere else?
They're coming from somewhere else.
And how do they typically get there?
Some teleport, some have ships, some,
Like spaceships, when you say ships?
yeah, that's what it seemed like.
And do you know why they're coming to Terra?
It's green, multicultural,
Uh-huh.
nice place to live, honeymoon, vacation.
So is this something that's open up to the entire universe? Like, hey, come on over to Terra to vacation?
How it is. We had to get everything ready first.
Uh-huh. Did it take a long time? Like, how long have you guys been working on Terra for grand opening day?
Long enough to get tired, not so long to give up hope.
Uh-huh. So how, in terms of your age, how long does it seem? Like, do you feel like from the time that you first arrived to Terra to like right now?
I want to say I was like 20, 25 years, but
Uh-huh.
as for what age I am, I feel like I'm still in my 40s, so I don't understand.
So what happened to Earth? Is the old Earth somewhere?
It is mostly uninhabitable.
What happened to her? What happened on Earth?
Pole shift. The plates shifted, and she needs a long while to recuperate. So we leave her be.
What happened to all the humans and the animals and the beings that were on Earth? Are there any survivors?
For a while, then they either went to Terra or work out their karma somewhere else, or they died. I'm glad I didn't die.
Did you arrive to Terra on a ship or something else? Do
Don't
you
remember.
recall?
Don't remember.
Mm-hmm. And so do you have children now?
At the time of the grand opening day, I'm not sure.
So tell me more about the community, the community that you're a part of.
I get really good vibes and not much else.
Can you see yourself having a meal with the community, or when you see yourself having a meal, what do you see?
It's something that looks brown, um, like a I don't know, a grapefruit or pomelo-sized chunk. It kind of looks like bark. It's plant-based. There's cylinders running through it, kind of like a mass of drinking straws glued together. I don't know what it is, but it's tender, falls apart in the mouth, quite tasty, pretty nutritious. Most everything you need to survive. I'm not sure if it's mycelial. It could be a mushroom, but I'm really not
Mm.
sure.
Mm-hmm. So is that really all you eat for sustenance?
The vision's being a bit vague.
Do you eat alone, or do you eat with a group of people, your neighbors? You eat while you're
There's
working?
there's a certain main dining hall, like a cafeteria-ish.
Mm-hmm.
There's one set up for each subgroup of inhabitants every 100 or 200 or so.
It's a lot of people. And I sense that it's multicultural.
We're all human.
So you mentioned earlier that you had your left lower part of your leg looked like it was grounded to.
It's just sort of growing into the earth.
Mm-hmm. So how do you walk around? Are you able to move around easily?
That's not something I considered.
So when you're working, you're helping to build the buildings,
Yeah, when I'm doing
right?
that, I seem to have a normalish humanoid body.
Mm-hmm. And so right now, what does your left lower leg look like?
And I can see it like both ways at the same time.
Okay. So maybe when you need the grounding, that happens, and when you need to be on the move, it switches.
It's like I can also see my hands a few different ways. With these fingers, longer fingers, spooky long fingers. It's like I control how I want my body to be, and it's always the most fitting option.
And how have you changed your body with your mind?
Oh, keep flowing. Like with surfing, you just ride the wave.
So give me an example of when you would want to change your body.
Well, every so often it makes sense to become a tree and ground yourself
Oh,
properly,
I see.
because there isn't really any better way to do it, to ground yourself, that is, besides being a tree. Well, I don't want to be a tree endlessly.
But just for that moment. Can everybody do this?
Most can, to a degree.
So if
Some,
you
some are terrible at it, some are better than me.
how did you learn to do this?
I think I figured it out by accident.
Mm-hmm. So are there teachers within the community to instruct others on how to do certain things? To learn how to, transform their bodies using their mind?
There are definitely some teachers.
Mm-hmm.
They're more rare than I expected, but ah, that's not many are needed, that's why.
Oh, why is that?
Because most people are already operating from quite a high level of knowledge. So, say, most kids can already learn a great deal from their parents without going to any specialized instruction.
So really the parents or the teachers kind of replace the institutions.
Yeah. The back of my neck and shoulders warmed when you said that.
Mm. And so it sounds like where you are, it's of a higher dimension.
Yeah.
Do you know what dimension you're in?
Fifth, maybe? I'm not sure.
Definitely higher than Earth.
Yeah.
So have you seen any other beings other than humans, humanoid bodies? You mentioned spaceships.
I think there's a few Zetas, but they keep to themselves fairly well. They're funny.
Why are they funny?
Tall, kind of ungainly. Not what I expected, I guess. Might not be a Zeta. Um, tall, 6, 7 feet. Gangly, thin arms, thin legs, thin torso. But it's weird. It's a sort of blue-gray color.
And do they look like humans or something else?
I mean, roughly.
Okay.
If you squint really hard through a funhouse mirror, yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk. I think it's telepathy.
Mm-hmm. And are they on the surface with you often? Do they
Well,
live there too with you?
there's only a couple of them, but most of the time they just do their own thing. They don't quite understand human culture, and we don't usually get them. But that's fine.
But you're still able to live harmoniously together.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's good though when they cook. It looks wild, but it's tasty.
What do they like? Tell me more about that.
I can see like a small spread of dishes. It just looks bright colored and nonsensy. Like there's one that's just cubes, orange pink cubes ish, dripping. And there's another that's a sort of golden white sphere ish. And it's all quite tasty. And I have no idea how to make anything like it.
So, do you have access to the same types of food that they're using, like the ingredients?
I don't know how they make it. No idea. For all I know, they grow it on a wacky tree.
So, a lot of the fruits and vegetables, I mean, are there fruits and vegetables on Terra?
Yeah, there's a good spread, but they don't really look like earth fruits.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Like they're still pear looking things, but they don't taste like pears.
Are they sweet like a fruit?
Yeah. But the thing that looks like a pear is tart, more like a citrus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's really different.
Surprise.
Uh huh.
It's a thing that looks like a pomelo. It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Is that the thing that you were talking about earlier?
No, something else.
So, the way that you communicate with your community, do you use spoken words or is it using telepathy?
Most humans speak some telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
I do both. Practice telepathy when I can.
So, it's almost like a muscle you have to keep
Yeah,
exercising, strengthening.
yeah, exactly.
Is it easy to do once you get the hang of it?
No harder than talking.
Okay.
You just think.
You just learn it on your own.
Not sure. Practiced it with my wife.
Why did you pick that lifetime?
As a heads up, he wanted to see it. In many ways, showing this to him was the easiest way to allow for a harmonious life with God to happen. So he asked, and I said yes.
Is that his future that he was seeing?
Yeah, it's a good future.
So is this the new Earth that we humans talk about?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Is there a timeline when that will happen in his timeline?
Within his life.
Well, he said that when he arrived, he was in his 20s, he sensed. And he's currently in his 20s. So does that mean it's going to happen soon? Sooner than later?
On a galactic scale, it's with the blink of an eye, but the blink of an eye for humans, well, it's quite
Right.
different.
Right. Yes, that is very true.
Within his life, about the level of specificity I can provide.
Okay, so maybe you don't want to give too much information. Is that right?
That ruins the fun, doesn't it?
So does that mean everybody gets to Terra at different times? That's what it seems like.
Sort of. Most get there at the same time. Some get there early.
Hmm. So what happens to the body, like when that happens and, he or others move to New Earth, to Terra, what happens to the body here on Earth?
Poof.
It does it
Vanishes. Some die here on Earth, and their soul then is born on Terra.
as a child?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some of them,
Hmm.
but he is one of few that will go in his current body. Current body being taken loosely.
Okay.
DNA upgraded, things like that. The 3D incarnation will 45 be improved, and only then, once filtered and purged and cleansed and enlightened, then it can move up to Terra.
When you say 45, you're talking about the age?
I was talking about how how I feel. I would feel like I was the equivalent of middle-aged,
Okay.
regardless of whether or not that actually is 45.
Hmm.
So take that with a fat cup of salt.
Hmm. So it's like gaining the wisdom or that feeling of someone who's in their mid 40s.
A better way to put it would be I'm halfway through my lifespan.
Okay. Okay. And so what he saw in that life was him seeing the old Earth kind of just like there were earthquakes that
Crumbling.
happened. Was he on Earth when that was happening?
No.
What was that?
What was what?
There was a scene where he felt that there were earthquakes and there were tsunamis. What was the significance of that, of him witnessing that past life, that part of the past life?
It's like seeing a door shut behind you and then lock. You can't go backwards.
So is that when he was in transition to moving to Terra?
Broadly speaking, yes.
Okay.
Um, that was along the way.
Hmm.
The reason for showing that was to show it happened, but forward is the only way. To be fair, I don't know when the pole shift will happen, but
So really, when the pole shifts, is that when Earth becomes uninhabitable?
just about.
Because I know the poles are shifting, but I'm assuming it has to do with when it gets to a point of no return.
Nibiru, or Planet X, is a magnetic planet, and it comes by every 3,600 years ish. And what will happen is it's entered our solar system, and NASA's covering it up. And at some point, we'll see this red planet in the sky, and that's how you know it'll be soon. The pole will shift in April or August or December, and the planet will block out um, the sun for 3 days, and I think shortly thereafter, the its it will its magnetic field will cause Earth to shift in such a way that the tectonic plates will slip, Yeah, creating lots of
I see.
earthquakes and tsunamis. And that's, I mean, at that point, the earth is going to lie fallow for a while. Like, even the rich who built survival bunkers, eventually they're going to run out of land to farm. But most everyone else, I think, ignoring the ones that die in the process, will go to either an intermediate world to work out their karma or to Terra. But that's about what'll happen.
Is there a timeline of when this planet will show up?
Not really. Some people know. I don't know when.
Okay. But definitely in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you start seeing a red planet in the sky, well, you should start worrying.
Mm-hmm.
And the poles will shift. Um, April, I think it's end of April or August or December, because those are the 3 times of the year when Earth's magnetic field wanes the most. I don't know which it's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
but that'll provide a date as we get closer.
I see. Definitely an exciting time being on Earth, seeing this transition, right? And a lot of us, our goal is to ascend on Terra, right? Like going to New Earth. And, in Dolores Cannon's books, they do talk about uh, 2 Earths, one Earth, basically, old Earth, basically being destroyed. And then there's another Earth, New Earth, where it's just beautiful. Sounds very much like what you were describing in his past life.
Future, but yes.
Mm-hmm.